Today, Colorado will rock, but it has nothing to do with the landscape as the bad boys of the Busch Series hit the track at Pikes Peak. Point leader Greg Biffle is the man to beat, but a wild pack gives chase, waiting for their opportunity to pounce. The air is thin, the track is fast, the drivers are hungry, and speed is their diet today at Pikes Peak.
Turn 4, big trouble.
Several cars are
head on.
Boy, here we go.
4, 5, 6 cars involved.
Josh Richardson came sailing in there and head on the car that spun. Casey Earnhardt also involved, and two other cars.
Ricky Hendrick got some damage in that.
There's a Kerry Earnhardt's damage.
Of course, this was a backup car after wrecking in happy hour.
Oh, 34 is the other car involved. Stuart Kirby, a car that they're leasing.
Two rookies.
Jimmy Spencer's team.
Two very young rookies there, as a matter of fact. Gonna have some splaining to do.
Yeah, Kirby was the car that went around, Darrell, and Richardson just came flying into that smoke, and Kirby spun all the way around, and they hit head on.
Yeah, Stewart, you know, he ran that car at Texas, and he spun out on the first lap down there. The car just apparently, you know, they set it up a little too loose for him for race conditions.
Now, the white car sitting on pit road, the 86 car, that's Jeff Fultz.
Oh, what a shame, because he won the ARCA race here last week, had a great race and a thrilling green-white checker run to win it, and Fultz is out of it.
Hope these two boys are okay, because those are a couple of hard licks right there. Those head-on crashes like that. As you can watch this. I'm not so sure. Maybe he didn't get some help going around that time, Larry. That 47 car looked like he was awfully close. Now that's a huge hit. It's all that smoke, and you really can't fault anybody when they're in a smoke like that. Car comes down the hill, just like we saw with Tina Gordon last week
in the ARCA race.
When they come down and all that smoke, you're just second-guessing yourself all the way through it.
Well, those cars were way up high when fellas like the 11, the red 11, and Richardson committed to the bottom, and then the hole closed up.
I mean, you saw the smoke. I mean, that's the same thing he's seeing, just a lot closer view. You can't see anything, and that car's coming down the racetrack.
No, plus you're pretty busy trying to just hang on to that thing.
Mark Green was involved. That was a brand new race car from the CarQuest onboard camera. Now that's Jeff Fultz, the white car, just to the outside right.
Looks like he's already in trouble right there, Mike. Looked like the car was starting to come out from under him.
So under caution quickly here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. We'll be back to Charlotte after this.
CarQuest Auto Parts 300 on Fox is brought to you by CarQuest Auto Parts. You'll find it at CarQuest. By Dr. Scholl's. Look, feel, do better. By your neighborhood 7-Eleven store. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven. And by 1010-220. Dial it, and all calls up to 20 minutes are 99 cents.
Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. Here's how the leaders run after a 6-car crash coming out of turn number 4. Let's show you again. You're going to watch the 47 of Shane Meal.
Now here they come right here. This is the car we're going to be watching right down to here. And they're going to come into frame, come into your picture. Right here, these 3 cars right here. Now this car right here, this 47 car, he's a contributing factor. Did he get into the side of Kirby? I'm not 100% sure. I do know that he was a factor. Either he took the air off of him, Kirby cut down, left the bottom open a little bit for the 47, but there was some effect from this wreck by the 47 car.
Keep her down, keep her down. Good, come on, come on, come on. I'll take a look at it.
That's Greg Biffle shooting through there.
Boy, Biffle.
And from Ricky Hendrick. That's Jeff Fultz outside of Hendrick.
And look at what these guys have to try to drive through. You're just, boy.
Can't see a thing.
Not a thing.
That's about one of the most dreaded things you can deal with is driving into a smoke-filled situation like that.
The spotter can't do a whole lot.
Nobody can help you. You're on your own.
Josh Richardson is out of the race. Here's Kerry Earnhardt's car under repair. Stuart Kirby is out of the race. Greg Biffle has some damage. Might have pushed the nose, but he's got rear end damage for sure. Somebody got into the back of him. Shane Meal, and Mark Green and Jeff Fultz all involved. So the caution is out early here in Charlotte.
Oh, no.
Tag.
Hang on to her, Hornaday.
I
saved it.
But he's going to come back down the racetrack.
No,
That's where we've been getting trouble.
He's been watching our shows.
No.
The caution did come out. Caution is out.
Boy, that was one incredible job. Way to go, Hornaday.
That was a great save.
But you know, he stayed with that thing, and he stayed in the throttle, and he kept the rear tire spinning. When it got up there, and when they've been shooting down the track, he released the brake, caught it, and took off.
Who was that, Kevin? That's at 9, Ron. 4 tires, you guys, are on that track bar up 2 rounds.
And Darrell, there's the difference between rookies and drivers with a lot of experience.
Boy, he's got some experience.
Front-running experience.
He's got car control. It's incredible car control. You can see definitely contact. See the rear tires, they stay in the throttle. Gas, 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 gas. See the front tires are smoking. Stay in that throttle. All that smoke's coming because he's not backed off the throttle yet. Now release, release. And away we go.
How do you see through all that?
So you feel. You know where you are. You don't have to see anything.
That was by the textbook right there, wasn't it?
That's a beautiful save.
I don't know 10 drivers that could have saved that car.
No, sir. Well, let's see, the thing just got there and hung. It didn't go all the way around, and that's what saved it. And believe me, when it's got where he could, he caught 3rd gear and took off.
And the first thing you wanted to know, who was that?
Who did that?
Who did that? Well, that onboard pans real well to the right. What a great save. This is from Jason Keller. That's more sideways than you can get and save it. But he did. Matt Yoakum.
And he is going to be in here, Mike, for service, 4 tires and a track bar adjustment. He said the car was getting a little bit loose. And what a save. Look more like Danny the Dude Lasowski, the dirt track last night, saving that car. The left side tires going on. Back upstairs, Mike.
A lot of pit stop. And around and into turn 2, Randy LaJoy.
Caution is out.
And that's a nice save.
Come on, you're clear
Keeps
to
it
the flag.
away
We're
from
still on the
traffic.
left. Come on, Randy.
I don't think he hit anything. He might have. Back it down. Nothing to gain here.
I know I talked to Randy and his group this morning. They've not been very happy with this race car since they unloaded it. They have thrown everything but the house at it, been loose ever since they unloaded.
Well, it's going to be worse now because I think he got that rear spoiler knocked down a little on the right side there.
We have 4 tires.
Looks like he just barely clipped the. That's Hornaday down the inside. Gosh, I don't know. It looked like the car maybe pushed a little bit, and Randy cranked into it, and she spun around on him.
You know, Darrell, looked like it maybe all started right on the entrance. He entered that corner awfully high, a little higher than you normally would enter.
Yeah, and you got a car that's already loose, and you get the air off of it like that, it can go around with you real quickly.
I would say that we're 43, 42 laps into this. All of our leaders will be to pit road. Ron Hornaday, though, in the 26 car, he'll probably stay out and get the lead back or be close to leading this thing again.
But this is.
We have, however, gone to caution. Jimmy Spencer, a brush of the wall at turn 4. No spin, no other cars involved, but the caution flag waves again.
A lot of damage to that race car, though, and this was a race car. We'll watch it right here. This was over in turn 3 and 4.
He's running that. See it? He's running that high line, and he bobbled just a little bit as it started up the hill. That little bobble, he lost control.
It's a fine line when you're up that high up the racetrack.
It's dicey up there, and it's dirty too.
Ron Hornaday drives through it.
He did bring the caution out. The unique thing about this race car, he ran it at Fontana, had a little bit of damage on the fender. 2 weeks ago, they were bringing it to Charlotte to have that fender repaired. The trailer and the truck had a wreck. This whole car was destroyed 2 weeks ago in Gastonia, North Carolina. They had to put a whole front snout and a whole body on this race car. Fortunately, the 2 guys in the trucks were okay.
You don't mind losing a car on the racetrack so much. That's part of racing, but sure hate to lose.
Turn 2, Bobby.
The 32 of Dan Pardis got loose off the corner, got collected, and got in the fence.
Caution is out.
I don't know if he hit anything very hard, and I got a little crinkle in the rear. Yeah, he's got some left side damage here.
The Outdoor Channel Chevy going to make it back around for the caution flag. And NASCAR will call this a quickie yellow.
Which basically means under normal yellow conditions, only lead lap cars can pit the first time, then lap cars down with your one or more can pit the second time. Quickie yellow, it means we're going to do a short caution here. Everybody can pit the first time.
Did you see Michael drive up beside of Bobby Jr.
after the caution flag?
When the caution came out? I think he was sending him a message.
Let's see what happened to the yellow car, Dan Pardis.
Oh, he just, again, the thing just bobbled with him a little bit there, and he got behind on the steering.
Boy, Kevin LePage, twice. He dodged the bullet twice there. Just a little bit of contact with outside wall.
Let's go back to Dick Bergman.
Deja vu with Bobby Kennedy. So
also document that Mike Wallace.
Oh, turn 2.
Randy LaJoie.
2 cars.
Caution is out.
Separate from one another. There may be fluid down there. That's the 94 of Jason White in the fence, along with LaJoie, who may have put something down on the track down there in 2.
Well, Randy in the 7, he has had a tough day. He's had a tough 2 days here.
He's had a tough season, you know.
And I think actually that, you know, he spun out over there the first time and
broke or something on that car flat.
I just think the car's way too loose for him, way too free. We heard him talk about that.
See what we can do to get it fixed.
I mean, you talk about him trying to get it fixed. I mean, he comes in here 4th in points. So anytime you can get back out there and make laps, make a few positions, it can make a big difference.
Well, he's got her cranked up and going to be able to drive it back to the pits.
On to the garage.
I think he's going to have quite a bit of left side damage. You can see that car is kind of whoppy-jawed there.
Now that's a new one. Whoppy-jawed?
Whoppy-jawed, yeah. See how it's kicked out in the back?
Kind of cattywampus.
Yeah, cattywampus. Cockeyed, something like that.
Everybody to pit road. Dick Bergman.
Well, Michael Waltrip will be among the very first to hit his pit stall. He's pitted far down pit road. Here he comes, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, as Bobby Kennedy calls him in. It's going to be a 4-tire change. Not a lot of change for the race car, however. Going to put some fuel in him. Brian Vickers is going to pit directly in front of him. Steve Burns.
Dick Bergman, this race car is so good for Bobby Hamilton Jr. No chassis adjustments, 4 tires. Chris Beeson and Kyle Power changing tires. Let's go to Matt Yoakum. And Steve Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Bud guys are already around servicing the Nilla Wafer Chevrolet on the left side. Spring rubber in the right rear. He said his car was fairly tight, and he's down and away. A battle off pit road. The 47 has a wedge wrench left in the rear window.
That 47 car, Mike, he wasn't even planning on pitting, and he come down and he had to cut through the grass to get to his pit. I don't think they were really expecting him.
But he will have to come back in. They'll be expecting him now because he'll be back on pit road.
Now we talked about Ashton Lewis Jr. getting to the front, and he did. He did not pit. So Lewis will be the leader as LaJoie steams onto pit road.
But, you know, this is interesting. That was lap 77. All of the leaders except, for the most part, Ashton Lewis Jr. and the 46 not pitting. That's 123 laps to go. That's 2 sets of their tires these teams have used under caution. That means everybody, what they've done, they've got to that window where they can make it on one more stop. But I mean, my gosh, we're at lap 76, and we've already had 6 cautions. So the 46, he's staying out there saying, I still have 2 sets of tires I can use under caution.
Don't save them too long.
Let's have a look at what happened to Randy LaJoie and Jason White.
Yeah, Randy just got up the hill again. I think the car's loose, and it just wobbled with him getting down into 1, and he chased it up there, got in the loose stuff, spun it around. A lot of left side damage. I think the 94 car just responded or reacted to what he saw in front of him, and he spun his car around.
From turn 2. Whoa. Darrell, with the radial tire, when you turn into a slide and that tire suddenly gets grip, are you in control when that happens?
You can't steer the car that
24 car. We have a crash.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 3 car, he got loose. A lot of cars having to go down pit road hard in the outside wall, still dodging cars. Caution is out.
And probably 9 cars shot down pit road. To avoid the accident.
What happened, Mike, is some of those cars that didn't take tires, some of the guys that did, we had those fast cars closing on those slow ones, and they ran over each other. Got all tied up right in the middle of 3 and 4 down here. You'll see Just cars everywhere, no place to go.
The cookies in that box.
Crunched.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have a good replay. When I looked up, though, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 3 had gotten loose and was moving up the racetrack. I think he actually got into the side of Michael Waltrip in the 99.
Yeah.
Watch the yellow car is Earnhardt. There it is.
He slides up in front of Michael. Clips a little bit.
Comes down and clips Mark Green.
Mark Green.
Look at the cars going down pit road. This is well over about 140 or 50 miles an hour they're entering pit road.
These cats on pit road never slowed much.
No.
They got on pit road and
no, they kept getting it. So only 3 cars involved, unless you count Michael Waltrip against the back bumper of Earnhardt Jr. Hamilton right there.
I mean, look at the cars coming at him. Jack Sprague, Jeff Green. I mean, it was in front of a lot of race cars.
And since Earnhardt is not running for points in the Busch Series, they went straight to the garage. Let's watch from Michael Waltrip.
There he is up on the outside, and Junior just kind of slides up in front of him and gets just a teeny bit loose. I don't think Michael ever touched him. I think Dale Jr. drove in underneath of Michael when he got loose.
All right, come on. You're okay, come on. Damn, that was my fault.
Michael's up on the outside of Dale Jr. Dale Jr. bobbles a little bit. I don't think Michael ever touched him. I think the car just bobbled, and he couldn't control it.
And you know, Darrell, if he was a little bit loose, Michael shot up there that right rear quarter panel. That pulls his back of his car around, makes him even looser.
Just sucks you around, Larry. Just feel like somebody got a hold of the thing pulling on it.
Here's the Applebee's on board. That's Jason.
Run these 2 races with Nabisco. It's been a lot of fun for me to drive for Richard, you know, and enjoy that. So tough luck today, but, you know, we had fun overall.
Thanks, Dale. We've got caution on the racetrack.
Casey Mears, Shane Meal.
Brian Vickers.
Brian Vickers is the 3rd car.
And Ron Hornaday, who had slid all the way back to 20th, was involved as well.
Ricky Hendrick.
And whoa, here they come back to the flag.
Yeah, that was about to be big as Brian Vickers came back on the front straightaway as Greg Biffle and Jeff Burt were coming right at him.
Looks like the only car that won't drive away from that one is Shane Meal. If you like your racing filled with yellow flags, have we got a show for you today?
That's that right. The track, I give a lot of that's the track's fault. Especially turns 3 and 4. We constantly talk about, there's Ron Hornaday with damage. We constantly talk about how slick this track can be and how fickle this track is. And I tell you, when the sun is setting in the west like it does, laying over in that 3rd and 4th turn, it's as bad as it's going to be. About 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you can hardly stay on it.
And we just set a record for the day for the longest green flag run. That was 19 laps.
Oh, 19.
Shane out of the car, okay, looking at damage. Here's Hornaday with the right front pushed in. Darrell, but for the Randy LaJoie crash and the Jimmy Spencer crash, both of which were single car spins, a lot of it's been the drivers without much experience here.
Yeah, a lot of yellow bumpers today, and that's just because they don't understand or they don't know how bad this track can get. This track is so deceiving, Mike. You practice, you say, oh, my car feels good, got a lot of grip. You get in a race out here with the temperatures high like they are and the track slick like it is, and you don't have any idea what happened.
Now, all of our leaders, I believe, are going to stay out.
Go low, go inside of you. You're all clear of it, all clear.
It's Ricky Hendrick driving through it.
Let's say he didn't see the other cars. There's another car in the fence up here in front of him.
Michael Waltrip in and out quickly. Jason Keller is in. Stacy Compton is in.
Ashton Lewis, who had been out there a long time on his tires, finally gets to come to pit road.
Put up on that 57 car, too.
The big problem right now is Ron Hornaday Jr. in the 26. He's sitting almost right in the middle of pit road as the cars from the other end of pit road are trying to get out.
Battery is gone on Hornaday's car.
Well, I think he's got more trouble than that, though. I mean, he's going to need more than a battery, unless they're going to hook it to something that'll pull that fender out.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Brian Vickers, the 18-year-old who graduated last night, has got a car that looks like a fugitive from a junkyard. There's hardly an inch on this thing that is not somehow or another damaged. Mechanics right now with a huge sledgehammer beating on the back deck, trying to be able to get that spoiler fixed. Spoiler will help hold him down. He's hit the wall in the back. He's been involved in an incident on pit road. Last night may have been fun. Today has not for Brian Vickers.
And here goes the battery run for Ron Hornaday. Once they get the car behind the wall, they'll replace it. And there's the handoff to the pit cart.
Where are you going to take it, Robbie?
Shane Meal climbed out of his car. Everybody else was able to drive away.
Past the big screen TV.
All right, now, the way they should be able to change this battery, it's a pretty fairly simple change. It's located right in front of the left rear. It's located right there. They pull a door off, and it has a quick disconnect right there that just slides apart. It's a marine application. So you pull that apart, you pull the old battery out, you slide the new battery in, you connect it back, put the cover on, go away. You can do it most places under caution without even losing a lap.
I just don't think, Larry, they're going to need a quick disconnect. I tell you, I think they're going to have plenty of time to get that battery changed.
Well, Ron's got his helmet off and getting ready to climb out, so looks like they'll have time. The caution is out again at 108 laps at Lowe's Motor Speedway. That have won this race back-to-back. There are two of them.
Oh, gosh, over there, trouble.
Turn 3.
Caution is out.
Dan Pardis.
Caution is out here. 8 laps to go.
Well, that'll even things up, but it will lock from 11th place down. 1 lap down. Michael Waltrip cannot beat Jeff Green back to the line to get on the lead lap.
Looks like Jeff Green tried to let him get back, just wasn't enough room.
I think that they were probably asking him and hollering at him, but he had too much speed to get to the line.
So 10 cars left on the lead lap. Who have won this race in consecutive years? Jeff Green's trying to do it.
Well, Mark Martin, Harry Gant.
Yeah, Mark Martin would be my guess.
Good try, Larry. Mark Martin in 98 and 99, as you see Dan Pardis go around.
Looked like he had some help from Casey Mears.
Here's the leader right there as he goes by, and of course Michael was trying to get a lap back there. He went right there, so the time he got around here, he just was going too fast.
Mark Martin, who's the answer to every Busch trivia question, and Tim Richmond, 1984 and 85, won this race back-to-back.
Michael's not, he's saying, why didn't you slow down sooner? You're a homeboy.
So here are the 10 cars on the lead lap.
Beat Michael like you are.
Jeff Green, Greg Biffle, Scott Riggs, Mike McLaughlin, Kevin Grubb, Bobby Hamilton.
He's at the wall in all 4 corners.
And right now he was scored in 10th position.
He's the number 2 point man. Stopping would have been when this is what happened to the Phillips Dodge.
Gets a little loose right there coming off the corner, which is kind of normal for this joint. Tried to save it, back in, started out, he corrected, and it jumped out into the outside retaining wall. The wall just jumps out and grabs you right there.
I mean, Darrell, we see that so much coming off turn 2. The racetrack, it narrows down right there.
Well, you're just coming out of those corners with so much speed. You got all that banking, back in the throttle, carrying a lot of speed. But, man, the track just kind of goes up, and it's like a basketball. Bounce a basketball with the right air in, feels pretty good. Put too much air in, it'll bounce over your head, and that's what these cars start feeling like after a while.
Casey Mears in a 66. They went back out on the racetrack and tried to make a few laps.
Pounds the inside wall.
Caution is out.
Well, he did, too.
Now, does Kenny Wallace get his lap back? Does he stay on the lead lap as they come around? I believe he did. He was side by side with our race leader.
A lot of cars getting their lap back. Mark Green. Comes Ashton Lewis Jr. in the 46 car. He's going to get back on the lead lap. Scott Wimmer tried, but to no avail.
Now, I'm not a big fan of that, except Green is a Winston Cup driver. He's not racing for points so much. Let those guys that are get back in the race.
See what happened to the AC Delco Chevy here.
The AC Delco Chevy got a little bit of help.
Looked like he may have been a little on the loose side before he got the help.
Well, he's been struggling. I mean, backing up through the field pretty fast, but I do think he got a little nudge. You just heard a spotter say inside, and
there's the inside. There he is.
Hard. That's a hard hit.
In a while, y'all.
Boy, from that angle, it's really kind of hard to tell.
It was Shane Mill in the 47 car that was behind him.
looked like Johnny was loose. Maybe not loose to the point of not saving it, but but you could sure read the side of that car.
45
the wall, and then somehow Andy Kirby's car got all torn up. There's Shane Hall's machine, and there is Kirby's.
The most exciting thing, though, was watching this 23 car get back. Oh, boy, we got to see that.
Stacey Compton in the 59, he was all the way up against the wall, like maybe he just got up there and it got away from him. I don't think he had a tire.
Well, you know, I just wonder, Larry. I mean, he got up there in the wall, then right behind him comes a 63. He goes around.
Oh,
possibly like him and Ashton Lewis Jr. in the 46 got together there.
And Casey Kane. And
I just wonder, though, if that 59, if some sort of reaction from a spotter or something, you know, caused those guys to run over each other like that.
Now here goes Compton.
Now he just gets loose. Saves it, oh, scrapes it. Grab a gear co.
And in the race to the line, now, Scott Wimmer.
Right. Watch this 23 car come out of nowhere.
And Darrell, you had just been talking that they definitely, even though he went a lap down, his car was much better.
Got his car a lot better, so that's a big break for him.
Yes, it is. Oh, we got trouble in turn 3. Jimmy Spencer in one car.
Did the 37 have something to do with that?
No, not at all.
Stay on the brake.
37 was way down on the bottom and is trying to limp around here and stay without losing a lap. Like McLaughlin got a lap back, and so did Shane Meal.
That was quite a break for the 37 car.
There's no fluid coming out of that car, but I tell you, that's a nose-in hard impact right there.
Third caution of the day.
Starting to see a little water run out of it now.
Lap 120. Here's Jimmy ready to climb out.
The 37 car had already made it to the bottom of the racetrack.
All right, there's LePage.
Where Joe Nemechek in 87 gets into him, and Kevin LePage is trying to get down to the bottom of the racetrack where he can come to pit road.
There's Spencer, top of your screen, at the end of this pack.
That's Todd Bodine in the 92 car. Looked like to me they was both going for the same hole.
Yeah, that's Jimmy's.
How many cars have they used up this year on that one team? There was the problem with LePage that instigated all of this.
And you might notice that Jimmy Spencer, I believe, is the only guy left that still wears an open face helmet. He still wears that.
His best career finish 2 weeks ago at Nazareth, 4th. Now he's a flame.
Caution is out.
And that car is spent.
Get out of there. Get out of there.
He had the right front tire go down. I was looking right at it.
Quickly they get Jamie out of the car, and we're under the 4th caution at lap 173.
What a shame.
Had a great race car all day long.
And it would have been his best career finish.
Yeah, and we felt like, you know, he might have been backing up a little bit. Green got by him there. Maybe he felt something happening and didn't catch it soon enough. Disappointed, I know.
Let's see what happened to 3rd place, Jamie McMurray.
See him go in the corner here. He's
right of your screen.
Right here. Thing just takes off with him as if the tire's down.
That tire goes down. It don't matter how far you crank that steering wheel, it's going to go straight.
Only thing that's going to stop you is that wall.
Now what's on fire here?
It looks like maybe a brake fluid, oil. Could be the fuel pump on the Chevrolet's on the right side there. Could be a number of things.
I would say that's a good chance that's a fuel pump, Darrell. It's right there against the way the snout's designed, the front clip.
So now the question, Larry, is when the pits are opened, who will come in, who will stay out?
Well, that's the great thing about the pits being closed right now. It gives you a little bit to think about it because it's going to be a tough call. We're going to have about 20 laps to go. These guys have been out there for quite a while on their tires, so we saw fresh tires almost win the race last year at Lowe's Motor.
Car going around.
Keller and Parker.
That's our points leader, and Hank Parker Jr. in the 36 car. Caution is out.
Something happened to the 36, and it just spun around right in front of Jason Keller,
who was our points leader.
Big spun out front. I was got into him.
Got to watch out here, racing back to the caution. Everybody hold what you got. Comes the leaders through. Tell you what, if I was the 21 car or the 60 and I knew that 23 had been running the way he had, I'd be a little bit worried. But we're going to run. He's going to run out of time.
Yep.
Now, guys, that was 5 to go. The only way we'll get this restarted is if they red flag the race, and we are getting report report that they are going to stop him on the backstretch, we will get a green flag finish.
Jason Keller, Hank Parker Jr. rolls his car down off the banking.
It looked like the 36, Mike, just all of a sudden just spun around. It almost looked like something happened to his car, but I can't.
Good bit of damage to Parker's car. Keller's car still sits up against the wall. Let's have a look at it.
Here's the 36, drives off in the corner. Right about here, she just comes around with him.
Jason, nowhere to go.
Poor old Jason, he was just going around him on the outside. Got caught up.
And the cheers you hear from the crowd are because the cars are being stopped on the backstretch to try to finish this race under green. Onboard Keller.
All happened so fast.
Keep it up, our buddy. You okay?
Hadn't been the best of days, but it just got worse.
Keller is going to lose the point lead to Jack Sprague and may lose second to his team.
Under caution for the first time tonight, Kevin Grubb in the 54. We are just about to brag on him.
He was running 10th, and Steve and I were just talking about him running a pretty good race so far, and the next thing you know, he's around backwards on turn 2, hard into the outside wall.
Kevin Grubb, the last 4 races have been top 10 finishes for him. Started the race 10th this evening.
The thing about the concrete, when your car is loose, it's just not very forgiving. The thing will come around on you unexpectedly. Concrete gives you just a totally different feel than asphalt does. And if your car gets loose on the concrete, it just never lets you know it's going to come around with you.
We can see it came around on Kevin Grubb.
It's out. Here we go. There's the 18 in trouble.
McLaughlin hard into the wall. Caution comes out for the second time this evening.
He was having a problem, and I think he was trying to maybe decide what it was, and found out the hard way.
Talked about Mike McLaughlin. There he is to the upper left of your screen.
Yeah.
Shane Meal down on the apron. Woo. He might have hit the dirt.
I tell you what, he was trying to unwad.
Oh, my.
He's the 18 car. Now, we saw him in trouble, backing up. We knew he had something wrong. Goes down in the corner. I think he was having a tire problem, and he just couldn't make up his mind what it was. Looks like the right rear was down there after he bounced off the wall.
Right rear it was. We're on board with Mike McLaughlin. Here's another view.
A driver, right after a caution flag, Steve, and the tires, you got low air, and things sometimes doesn't feel exactly right to you. You're afraid to come in the pit because you've been bitten by that before. You make the call, I got a flat tire, all of a sudden you end up on pit road and say, hey, man, you didn't have a flat tire. Next time, give him a chance, give the air pressure a chance to come up. And so that sometimes puts a driver in the box.
Tough break for Mike McLaughlin. Came in here 6th at Ashton Lewis Jr. has just blistered the wall, DW. Caution out for the 3rd time. The window net is down. His sign that he's okay, but his race car isn't.
Oh, boy. I mean, he backed that thing in there a ton. He was looking right at it. He went down into turn 3 over there, and the back end just came around, and she went hard into the outside wall.
Boy, look at the damage to the rear end of that car.
Yeah, it took a hard lick. He's a tough little kid, I know. And, he's had some great runs.
Yeah, they have a problem closing the deal. They'll run real well, and just something happens to take them out of contention. Came in here 15th in points, qualified 15th. Ashton Lewis Jr.
Right down.
Got one in the wall.
Man, he's in a terrible place.
Ooh, don't move. Caution out for the 4th time this evening. Lap 160. Dan Pardis in the 32. Into the wall in turn 2. Window net down. You see Pardis putting the steering wheel up on the dash. Window net is the sign that the driver's okay.
Got a lot of left side damage, so the car went hard into the outside wall with the left side of it. Got that window net down. It's always great sign.
He flattened the left side, Darrell.
Sure did. He got in that wall hard and mostly all down the left side of the car. Got, you know, these drivers now have so many. They got the Hans device or the Hutchins device, and they got leg supports and the big headrest on the seats. There's this Hans device, just fell off on the ground right there. And you know, with all that stuff on the driver, if he has to get out in a hurry, he'll figure out a way. But nonetheless, still takes a little bit more time to get out than he used to.
Artis okay out of the race car. Jason Keller's got the lead. Dan Pardis is headed to the garage. You're watching FX.
We're going around in turn 4, guys.
The 56, Richard Mitchell.
He got up out of the groove and he got that debris on his tires. Couldn't control the car, and around she went.
Caution out for the 5th time on lap 171.
That may save Jay Sauter from losing an additional lap. He's just ahead of the leaders. So that worked out pretty good for him.
Johnny Sauter. There's too many Sauters out there.
Whoever, one of those Sauter boys in that 2 car.
You know there's 11 Sauters altogether.
I know there's a lot of them. I know there's about 5. It seems like, how many Sauters are racing tonight?
There's 3 tonight. And
3 tonight.
5 at Milwaukee. Let's take a look at that restart, Darrell. May have been the cause of Tony Rain's problems. There's Tony in the middle. Ooh. The 60 may have just gotten into.
Yeah, it may have, but I think he may have just gotten up in the loose stuff. His car goes in hard on the outside here. I watched him. Around she goes.
Richard Mitchell in the 56 brings out the caution for the 5th time this evening.
How about if in the future I just talk about Sauter?
Yeah, then you're covered.
Okay. Because I mean, I got that part right. You know, you got to give me credit for that.
I didn't say I didn't give you credit.
No contact was made with another machine. Just slid out wide, hit the wall. He was able.
Took a look at Tony Raines just a second ago. Now on the restart, there's the 21 into the.
Oh yeah, there's where his problem started, right there.
That was the demise of that right rear tire for Tony Raines.
He rubbed the Goodyear right off of him.
Sure did. Well, Jack Sprague's trying to put that.
Everybody realizes the end is drawing near, and everybody's kind of got a car around there. It's the 26.
Ron Hornaday.
Hornaday, I think he's going to. Boy, he kissed it right at the end. Seemed like you get up out of the groove at all, man. You just can't control the car, and around she goes.
Caution out for the 6th time. Ron Hornaday.
If anybody's got a shot at getting a lap back here or not. I think McMurray's trying, but I don't think he's too far back. Unless everybody stops and lets him go. Here comes, here he comes, here he comes. Come on, come on. Oh. Well, what happened there? Sprague slowed down for McMurray, but then Biffle said, whoa, guess what? You slow down, I go by.
That's right.
Like I said, we're at the end of the race. We're getting very near to the end of the race. It's no time to be playing games.
Compton in the 59. Hornaday just gets loose, and Larry Foyt gets by him on the bottom.
Just gets up out of the groove just ever so slightly. And that's why I was telling you, Steve, about a car. I don't want to have a loose race car, because you get up out of the groove and you get the back end just hanging out a little bit on this concrete, she'll snap around on you in a heartbeat.
Hornaday comes to pit road. Fred Wanke, in fact, told me that at Dover, that you taught him that.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me loose.
Don't get me loose. I'm telling you, you can't drive a loose car. I don't care who you are.
And Biffle lost momentum just for a second.
Oh, got a car around again right here in front of him. That's
Scott Riggs again?
It looks like Riggs. Yeah, it's hard to tell from here, but I'm pretty sure that's Riggs.
Caution is out. It is Scott Riggs.
I think he was trying really, really hard, Riggs was, to stay on the lead lap, or to not lose another lap because the leaders were closing. The car just come around with him.
Yellow flag for the 7th time this evening.
Got a car around backwards in the wall over in turn 3.
That's the 91 car.
Stanton Barrett in the 91. Caution is out.
Looked like he just got in there a little on the high side, and back end came around on the 91 car. Stanton Barrett, Hammond might be able to give us some input into that car. I think he's been helping those guys a little bit.
Stanton just won some awards for Hollywood stunt work.
Yes, his father, great stunt man. You know, he was friends with Hal Needham and actually drove some himself. Stan Barrett.
He drove that car before Harry Gant did.
He did. He drove the Skull car before. He didn't even call the Rocket Man. Yeah, he just goes around all by himself. I think there was a lot of racing going on back into the pack there. Got to be patient on these opening laps. Tire pressures are down. You got to give the thing a chance to come to you.
And Barrett to the garage area. Heavy damage to the rear of that number 91 car.
And he's going to have the lead here before too long. Whoa, trouble.
Trouble. Hank Parker Jr. By himself between turns 1 and 2. And
whoa, hard lick
boy,
left
he
side.
hit hard.
Hard lick left side. Lots of damage. That car's not going anywhere.
Darrell, he told us last night that he was not happy with his race car. He said he was, you know, so confused about what to do. He was going to put his Las Vegas setup underneath the car and just kind of start all over.
Well, you know, it never fails. If you have a rough racetrack, it's too rough and you can't stay on it. You got a smooth racetrack, it's too smooth and we can't figure out what to do. So it's kind of between a rock and a hard place. The track is so smooth, it takes a really, I think, trick shock package to make your stuff work. Probably some kind of, if Larry was here and Jeff might be able to follow up, double aggressive throw down with maybe a spark plug and a rocker arm and
valve in there,
some roller rockers or something inside of it. You know.
Somebody opened up the Penske shock manual and showed it to me, and I was like, "Oh my God, I don't want to see that."
I don't want to see that. I can't believe they can get all that stuff inside that little tube.
Well, I couldn't understand it.
Nobody can.
No. Well, here come the leaders, D-Dub. Don't get me loose. Fred Wanke said that. On board with Johnny Sauter, Hank Parker Jr. right in front of him.
Hank. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
That was a fine how do you do.
I don't think that needs any words.
Nope.
It's a great picture.
We'll be right back to the Kentucky Speedway. You're watching FX. Caution out for the second time this evening. Good news, Hank Parker Jr. getting out of that Dodge, which is pretty used up, DW.
Yeah, I know. He looks pretty stunned.
In 4.
He and the 4 car finally made contact.
On board with McLaughlin. Caution out for the 4th time. Lap 68.
They've been racing each other pretty hard there. I'm not sure exactly what caused that. But the 18 and the 4 were definitely working on each other.
Boy, tough break for Mike McLaughlin. As I said, came in here 8th in points. Finished 33rd at Nashville last week. So 2 tough weeks in a row for Mike McLaughlin, who has one of the best nicknames in all of racing.
Magic Shoes. Didn't help him much then. He's going straight to the garage. Going to waltz that baby right on behind the wall.
Well, what do you think, DW? The leaders pitted about lap 33 when caution came out for the second time. Will we see him again now?
Oh, yeah. Some of those guys, particularly Scott Riggs, you heard him say he took 2, didn't really like it. He'll be down on pit road to get him 4 tires and maybe make a little adjustment here and get his car tightened back up for him.
Boy, Mike pulls right into the garage. Tough night.
I just hope this doesn't come down to a fuel mileage race because I don't have Larry here with his calculator. So
I've got one. Here it is, right here. Look.
2 things I can guarantee you. He knows what the track temperature is, and he knows how often and when these guys got to pit.
Let's go on board with Mike McLaughlin.
He does?
Yeah. Steve, Darrell.
Oh, cars in the wall.
Car wall.
Couple of cars.
That's Jack Sprague.
Oh, man.
The points leader, Jack Sprague. Larry Foyt hits the wall.
He come out of the grass.
Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s involved.
Many.
Ashton Lewis. The 46, Ashton Lewis Jr. Lap 82, caution out for the 5th time.
I don't know what Hammond was going to say about the weather, but we just had us a little storm here off turn 4, bud.
Oh, Larry Foyt was having a great run in the 14 car.
Got down in the grass, and when the car came out of the grass, it just turned and went straight up the wall, up the track into the outside wall. That's what happened to a couple of those cars.
Let's take a look at what happened, DW.
Coming off turn 4 here, 25 car gets a run up on the outside. Ooh. Something happened to Sprague. The car just jumped straight over to the right, got into Bobby Jr. Heavy damage to both those cars, and then these other cars are just taking evasive action. They get down in the grass. Looked like somebody else got into the side of Bobby Jr. there, and then the 14 car just comes up. Here he comes up out of the grass here, and just Ashton Lewis just spun around.
Yeah, once he got traction on the pavement.
I think his car's okay.
Boy, Larry Foyt, tough luck. Trouble for our points leader, Jack Sprague. Bobby Hamilton Jr. also involved.
Just got sucked into somebody else's bad luck. That 24 car was down underneath. 25 got outside. I believe must have sucked that 24 car around just a tad. Then he got up into the side of Bobby Jr. and then we had us a little storm down there in turn 4.
Todd Bodine on pit road, followed by Joe Nemechek, Scott Wimmer, Ricky Hendrick. Hornaday in the 26, Casey Mears behind them. A lot of cars hitting pit road. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
And Steve, you can already feel some of the sprinkles hitting is a 92 car Rambo, Tony Liberati on top of the pit box. One of the only cars to pit. And he just says, oh man, here comes the rain. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment. A half a pound out of the right front, no wedge, a 4-tire change as well. As Sean Haggerty comes around to the left front. One of the veteran jackmen, one of the fastest guys on pit road, David Hatfield. A couple pumps, he gets ready to drop it as Haggerty hits the lug, and he's down and away to Jeff Hammond.
24 car here right now has got severe damage to both sides of the race car. The guys are trying to pull everything away so he can get him back on the racetrack. As you were saying a minute ago, Matt, it's starting to rain, but the 24 car has got some severe damage. The steering wheel, Jack has reported, is off to crew chief Dennis Conner. So these guys are going to have a tough night to try to get this car to finish the race very well.
All right, under caution for the 5th time this evening.
Injuries from Las Vegas, and it seems like the last few weeks he's really started, Chad, to get himself on a bit of a roll.
Well, we're going to do a pre-race pick, you know, and I know it's after the fact. It's really not fair, but I'm going to have to slide Ricky Hendrick in there to be my pre-race, pre-rain race delayed pick.
Yeah, nice to pick it after you see him moving up through the pack. Yellow flag is out. It is for Dan Pardis, who's spawning. We see a lot of tape flying off the Net Zero Chevrolet of Jack Sprague, and we hear that he caught a piece of the wall as well. So there's the outdoor channel car of Dan Pardis. He brings out this caution flag. I believe that is number 6 on the race. We had 5 last night, the red flag, and 1 here so far this afternoon. And Jack Sprague, his troubles continue. Both he and Pardis were able to drive away.
I think the rest of the field is going to be grateful for this caution flag too, because the 10 car and the 60 car were coming real strong, and it wasn't going to be too long where they were going to start putting about
29 now. Looking to the high side of Greg Biffle. Trouble. Jay Saunders hit the wall. The caution flag is out. Here's the lead machines. Bodine on the outside.
Once, twice.
Down to the stripe as they bang. Biffle out of control. And I can tell. Right. It looks like Todd Bodine, by 36 thousandths of a second, has won it. They hit once, twice, 3 times, and then again, Biffle's car cocked sideways, and when it did, perhaps the nose of Todd Bodine's machine beat him to the start-finish line. And what a big win for Todd Bodine, the first of 2002, the 14th for his career, and man, what a finish here in Kentucky.
I guess that was a great finish. I need to see it again. I'm not sure. I'm not convinced yet that he won. I've got to see this.
On the NASCAR scoring computer, Todd Bodine has been listed the winner by 0.036 of a second. And what a great finish. Todd Bodine on the high side. Let's take a look at a replay. As they work their way out of turn number 4, Bodine on the high side, Biffle trying to use up all the racetrack he can.
Well, Todd Bodine's not giving it up an inch either, and they just made contact, and it took a little bit of the air off. I still couldn't tell from that angle, but the computer in NASCAR does say Todd Bodine's the winner.
When he got out of shape, it looked like Biffle's car went at a 45-degree angle. When it did, Todd's car snuck by because he was in a straight line. And man, I don't think either driver has anything to complain about there. Again, Bodine had proved in the late stages of this race he was faster than Biffle. Biffle, a great move on the restart to retake the lead, and Bodine just kept digging. He wouldn't give up. Let's take another look at this thing as we come back to turn number 4. Here's Bodine. Good run out of turn 3 to the high side. Biffle tried to block him, couldn't do it. They touch once, twice, and then the third time you see Biffle's car turning sideways, Bodine's car in a straight line, and that was just enough for the Excedrin Chevrolet to grab the victory. Here's a look out the back bumper of the Greg Biffle machine. And there the car is sideways across the start-finish line. Greg Biffle did all he could do to hold on, but came up just inches short.
3 days.
Front straightaway, the 40 car of Brian Vickers goes around right at the start-finish line. After he spun, nobody hit him, but that'll put us under caution for the first time.
That's a shame. He made his Busch debut here 1 year ago. Look at the replay. See Jack Sprague on the bottom in the 24 car. Vickers in the outside in the 40 car coming off turn 4 down the front stretch.
Oh, me. Just tried to keep off of Jack Sprague, and by doing so, lost control of his own car and hit the outside wall.
A lot of cars coming at him. He was very lucky. That's the only thing that happened to him.
Jack Sprague and Brian Vickers get together to bring out the first caution of the day at lap 7. You're watching NASCAR on FX. Working the first yellow of the day, Brian Vickers spinning after coming off turn 4 alongside Jack Sprague. Let's watch it from the MBNA cam on Mike McLaughlin.
Vickers up in that second groove. This is coming on the front stretch. That's a tough call to make right there. Looks like maybe Brian overreacted just a little bit as he got up against the wall.
Let's watch from the Johnsonville cam on board Stacy Compton.
I think he was just trying so hard to stay off of Jack Sprague that when he pulled it around, the car just kind of, with the soft left rear spring we run, it just kind of turned into the wall.
And at the same time, I mean, Sprague's coming off the corner. His car's moving up just a little bit. Steve Burns.
Now, Larry, we just heard Jack Sprague talking to his crew chief, Dennis Conner, and he said that the car is tight from the center off, adding to what you just said.
He kept his car to the inside. He didn't pass, but he tried to get that jump. There we see the 16 car, Chad Chaffin, just pitted, sitting down there in turn 3 and 4.
And caution is right out.
Raines was trying to get the jump on Jason Keller and beat him down into turn 1.
Chad Chaffin spins on the restart to bring out our second caution flag.
He had been on pit road. They did not change any tires. They made a chassis adjustments and topped it off with fuel. One of the big things here, especially on hot tires, you pick up a lot of rubber, and when you nail the gas on a restart, it'll actually spin the rear tires and can spin you right out, and that's probably what happened to Chad right here.
He's got a pretty big dent, too, in that right side door, so it makes me wonder maybe if he tried to go up and got into somebody and that kind of maybe assisted in that spin right there.
As DW always says, cautions breed cautions.
Exactly, and that's what point we were trying to make a minute ago. This racetrack, you can pick up a lot of stuff on hot tires, and it's always going to be exciting when you have a restart.
So caution is out for the second time at 13 laps. Greg Biffle has led them all here in Milwaukee. Getting set for a restart here at the Milwaukee Mile. We've raced 15 laps and had 2 caution flags. Brian Vickers spin, and then Chad Chaffin spin on the ensuing restart. There is Chaffin's car and the damage to the right side as they work to try to get him back into the race. He has now gone 2 laps down. A car spinning at turn 2. Brian Weber is going to put us under caution for the 3rd time today. He was by himself. May have cut down a tire the way the car wobbled and then spun up between turns 1 and 2.
And then Jamie McMurray in a 27 car, a group of cars was coming at him, and there was nowhere for Jamie to go. He was involved in well after the accident.
And I believe there was another car also involved right there. It looked like the car number 38 Mark Green spun just in front of Jamie right there, but he went all the way around and kept going. So it got real interesting in a hurry.
Now, let me correct that Jimmy Kitchens is still in the race in car 77. The cars that are out after taking a few laps and pulling to the garage, Brad Miller, Bill Hoff, Phil Bonifeld, the 02 of Lowell Bennett, and the 49 of Nick Woodward are all off the track, and we may add Weber after this spin at turn 2.
And I think it's pretty safe to say here coming to lap 50 that we'll see all of our leaders to pit road, 4 tires full of fuel, few adjustments.
Let's have a look here at the tail end as Brian Weber's gone around and up and into the wall with the left front.
And he starts going down the racetrack a little bit, and then there comes a big pack of cars right there.
He's able to right now to kind of hold it. Whoa, it's going to be ugly. Hang on, hang on. Hang on, boys. Shane Mill and Kerry Earnhardt go around.
Caution is out.
5th time today. We're just past halfway at lap 129.
That's a shame because both those boys were having an awfully good run.
No real big damage, and they will both stay on the lead lap.
Well, Kerry Earnhardt will have to come to pit road and try to do some work in his car because that spoiler is being knocked down like this is really going to hurt him.
And there's something else wrong with the 54 on the back straightaway. He's not able to maintain pace car speed.
Remember, they just made that driver change.
Yep.
Just looked like Shane Mill in the 47 car just drove that car again, overdrove the entrance of the corner, got loose, and of course Kerry Earnhardt in the 12 ends up being the victim.
Young guns are kind of misfiring today.
This place is
Scott Wimmer, Ron Hornaday, and Mike McLaughlin. Curtis Davis from Gaffney, South Carolina, was making his 2nd start of the season for his family-owned race team. He came spinning down the front straightaway. Heavy damage to Todd Bodine as well, and to Brian Vickers. Here's what happened.
He's coming off turn 4 right here. Oh, Hank Parker Jr. just came down off the wall coming off turn 4. Curtis Davis, he had started moving down. There was nowhere for him to go. That's a shame. Curtis Davis in the 0 car. He was having a good run.
But what happened to Todd?
Whatever happened to him happened behind him. So let's get some more information from Dick Bergman.
Well, I can't tell you what Todd Bodine hit, but what he hit pretty darn good. The right front corner of the car is all torn up, flat right front tire. They've changed the right side tires, but Todd has been told to bring the car back down pit road again. They've got an upper control arm ready to put on the car. That's major. To Steve Burns.
Thanks, Dick. Kerry Earnhardt's about to get back in the race car. Kerry, how much damage is there? Can you be competitive?
I don't know. I died it now and got some damage on the rear and front. So, you know, the Supercuts team worked real good in pit stops, and the car was awesome. You know, Chevrolet Monte Carlo was flying, coming from 32nd up to 5th there, running 5th, and I guess Shane Mill needed a whole track to get around, get by me, and you know, I'm against the wall already, and for some reason he took me out. So.
Let's get back to work.
So Kerry Earnhardt climbs back aboard. Let's have another look at what happened here. Curtis Davis spins off of Hank Parker Jr. Oh!
There it is with Brian Vickers in the 40 car.
You know, we were kind of like looking down on pit road and wondering what happened to Brian Vickers. Now it makes sense because he ran across the left.
Vickers had checked up for the accident in front of him, which Todd Bodine could not see. We'll be right back. We're back, but it's been exciting. Hank Parker Jr.'s made a pit stop, and this man, Jack Sprague, the point leader, was in 2nd place, 13 seconds off the lead. Just came spinning down the front straightaway, but grabbed a gear and got going. Here's a look at it.
See Wimmer, he's underneath Sprague right there, and they get together right there off that corner, and around goes Sprague.
Now Wimmer on fresh tires, moving up into 2nd place. Sprague trying to stretch it out, but he keeps going, and no caution. Our leader, who stopped at the same time as Sprague.
On turn 1, he got back in the wall again, Mike, so.
Yep, caution is out.
Caution is out.
I'm like you. I believe if I'm Tony Raines, I want to see that caution, even though I'm leading this race.
That's the only way he's going to get an opportunity to kind of like have a really good day here.
Well, does he want to see the caution because he wants to pit as we watch Vickers, or does he want to see it because it will help stretch his fuel mileage if he stays out?
I just couldn't imagine him staying out on 90-lap tires against those tires that are fresh now. The thing about it, the rest of our leaders can actually come to pit road and get fresh tires. You get 3 sets, but that's under caution. The tires they just took was under green, so it don't count against your 3 sets.
So if Rains comes in, everybody will come in.
I would say there's going to be somebody stay out, but I'm going to say the majority of them will come in.
I don't know, Larry. With Bobby Hamilton Jr. got back on the lead lap, and Mike McLaughlin, so 12 cars on the lead lap. Do you stay or do you go?
Well, you take people like Hank Parker Jr., he only has 7 laps on his tires. He pitted on lap 219.
So he could stay out.
Yeah.
Brian Vickers, the right side of that car is used up. He hit the wall to bring out the 7th caution at lap 225, and he hit it at both ends and hard.
Keep talking about what's going to happen. Remember one other thing. We've got a lot of cars that are 1 lap down right now that will be restarting on the inside or staying out to be at the tail end of the lead lap ahead of these leaders. So again, there's going to be a lot of interesting strategy when we get ready to go back to green.
Second caution of the night. Ron Hornaday coming out of the tri-oval tried to squeeze up the outside in front of Stacy Compton. Didn't have room and slid across in front of Tony Raines, number 33.
As you can see, they come through the tri-oval here. They get 3 wide, as we've talked about a number of times. Now, what Ron wants to do, and his spotter's looking back, you know, looking down toward that corner. He may have not cleared, or he may have even cleared Ron at that point. Stacy held his line. Ron came up. That's a typical deal on a Daytona track. What Ron doesn't want to be here is hung in the middle. He's trying to get over and get into the outside lane, and he just didn't quite clear that car.
And Darrell, the spotters are right above us here at the start-finish line, and right there, they're going away from the spotters. It's hard for a spotter to clear a car right there.
And what hurt Raines' car is when he come out of the grass and into the banking. It's just like drove the nose right into the banking.
Now this is from Compton. There's the contact. Nice job by Ricky Hendrick in the 5 right there. You saw on the right, shooting through there without incident. Kevin Grubb in the 54 was a lap down because of that plug wire problem. As the caution came out, the leaders slowed single file, and Kevin Grubb comes around to get back on the lead lap.
Now all of our leaders are back to pit road, reason being.
Away. That's big.
So let's race 3 abreast for second.
Whoa, that's a 99, isn't it? Yeah, that's Michael. He's around.
Straightens it out. Jay Sauter there, limping along.
Caution is out.
Yeah, I'm fine. I don't know what happened.
Randy LaJoie brings them to the caution.
What happened was, I believe they were going by the slow car, the 94 car. Looked like he got loose, got into the car beside of him, shoved him up into Michael.
94 with Jeff Spraker. He was not on the lead lap.
I just pulled him behind us.
And I'm sure Michael doesn't know what happened because that all happened down to his left. He didn't see that, see those cars getting loose, getting into each other. I think we look at it, we'll see the 94 kind of wobbles into the car beside of him.
Third caution of the night, Jay Sauter and Michael Waltrip.
That's too bad. Michael had a really good race car. That's the dangers of pitting.
Now, if some of our guys that pitted on lap 44, 56 to go, just remember, and here's a replay right here. We'll talk about that in a second.
That again, see if we can figure out exactly what took place there.
Hard to tell what made Michael's car turn sideways.
Yeah. He's tucked in behind. Oh, I see what happened. Michael started to go down, and he caught the back of the 94 car. That's what it looked like happened.
94 car's Jeff Spraker.
Yeah, it looked like Michael was going to swing down to the inside or else make a move to the inside. I believe he caught the back of that 94.
Let's see for Michael's car.
See, something made Michael move over and clip the back of that 94. I don't know if he got touched from behind or if the car just moved on him unexpectedly.
From the U.S. Postal Service Williams Travel Center camera, Jamie McMurray.
Just a lot of cars right there kind of all wadded up, and they all started to move a little bit. Let's see if we can... We got a lot of good shots here. Let's see if we can tell what happened here. I think the 21 got into Michael, pushed Michael over. He got into the back of the 94. Every time I look at it, I think something different.
Well, the outcome is conclusive. Waltrip's and Sauter's cars are badly damaged.
Yeah, I think what happened was, I believe the 21 car got into the side of Michael just a little bit, shoved Michael over.
Whoa! Gary Earnhardt
takes out Randy LaJoy.
7 car.
Caution is out.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. going down through here, sliding through the grass.
And LaJoy stops just shy of the pit wall. The front end torn from Kerry Earnhardt's car and from Randy LaJoy's.
Darrell, you say it time and time again. Cautions breed cautions.
That's it, bud. Especially late in the race.
Well, something just yanked Earnhardt's car sideways.
Well, he'd had some, been in trouble here, but I don't see any tires down.
He's coming off turn 4.
Randy LaJoy right behind him. Oh, he just
got loose. Yeah, he overcorrected right there.
Got loose and came right into Randy LaJoy's car.
Look at Riggs push his way through there and get damaged on the right front.
Boy.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25 car, he was trying to go down pit road knowing those cars were going to come down. Nowhere for him to go.
Scott Riggs is not going to like restrictor plate racing. He had trouble at Talladega, and he's had trouble here tonight, not of his own making. Pretty good shot LaJoy takes here, guys. I mean, when that 12 car comes around and drives right into him and drives him into the wall, that's a pretty good shot.
That was a hard shot.
Randy is okay. He's climbed out of the car.
Boy, I think Ron Hornaday just went flying by here. I assumed to get a lap back.
There's another angle.
These guys are running about in the 8th, 9th, 10th position right here.
It's not the first time I've seen that 12 car sideways like that tonight. He did that through the tri-oval.
And Earnhardt has now climbed from his car, and he's okay.
Poor old Scott Riggs. I mean, he's had a couple of tough weeks here. Blew up at Milwaukee, and just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
For our points leader, Jack Sprague, the 24 car, he just got by that wreck as well.
And our rookie leader, Scott Riggs, did not. From Hank Parker Jr., the GNC onboard camera.
Run up, you go low, go low, go low. Oh, come on, you're good, come on. Good job, Hank. That's a damn good job of driving right there, baby.
Pit call looks like he's going to win this race. We led some. It's too bad. You're a patriotic car. Man, a flag. They ain't supposed to do that to the flag.
Randy LaJoy makes his own safety seat. A significant number of the drivers use that safety seat and credit him with saving them from injuries in big crashes just like that one.
Nicky came in here 7th in points. This will certainly hurt his title hopes.
Yeah, and Randy has put a lot of effort into this seat safety. He's worked on that for a number of years.
It's a different design that cradles the shoulders rather than the ribs. Mike Wallace clearing out some debris on the windshield and under the nose. And we'll be back to Daytona with 14 laps to go. The 60 and Jason Keller 5th in line. Oh, hard hit. Hard into the wall. Was Sprague. And cars go spinning everywhere.
Caution is out.
Jack Sprague with an incredibly hard hit coming out of turn 2.
We could have a race to the line here. This could be the race right here coming. They're racing back to the caution flag.
McMurray went up high and drops to 5th. It's going to be Nemechek leading the back to the caution. Nemechek, Biffle, LePage, Keller, and McMurray, and Johnny Sauter. Now they're going to have to pick their way through the debris.
And that was 4 laps to go. You know, the only way we'd ever get this race restarted is if they threw a red flag. And it's very borderline in having enough laps to do that.
Yeah,
they're going to stop the cars on the backstretch.
I just wish they wouldn't do this, but I know they will.
Sprague, I saw moving around in the car. Thankfully, good news. There's Scott Wimmer. Christian Elder is in it. C.W. Smith.
Casey Kane, the 98 car.
Yep. Too many fireworks.
Yeah, well, those cars all back there, you know, from 5th on back, we're just racing each other mighty hard. Hank Parker comes to pit road. There goes Ashton Lewis with damage. Ricky Hendrick
was in it.
Todd Bodine.
Sprague and Bodine again.
There they go. Kind of hanging close to each other, banging around a little bit here. All of a sudden they come off a 2. He gets a little wobble. Sprague does, gets that arrow push, corrects for it. There goes Todd around, and here comes the rest of the field.
Pretty much everybody else behind these cars was involved.
Saw Hank Parker scoop through, and then Ricky Hendrick
came so close to making it through. If you watch Sprague's car down on the bottom, here he is with Todd on the outside. Now what's going to happen, Sprague's car is going to wiggle a little bit. It's going to move up the track. It's going to suck the bottom of it. See it go down, and now the bottom, the thing comes around with him, hits Todd on the outside.
And there's nowhere for the rest of these cars to go. Casey Kane, the 98, almost gets over all the way over.
As you go through turns 1 and 2 down here, there's some swell, some real kind of, the car wants to porpoise a little bit as it goes through that corner. Sprague loses the front end, he turns into it, and the back end comes around, gets into, then it breaks loose and gets into Todd.
Daryl, I know it's only 5 laps to go, but give and take. There's got to be some give and take.
There just can't be. These restricted, the problem you have, Mike, is these cars are restricted. If you lift, you go back. You got 5 to go. You got no choice. You got to gas it and go. And sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, this is basically what you get.
From Hank Parker Jr.
You see Sprague up there. You see him just kind of, the front end pushes first, and then the back end hops out.
Casey Kane got into Parker, turning him around when Kane was up in the air. Now watch from Stacy Compton.
Stacy Compton has been a lucky man tonight. That's the 3rd wreck that he's been in, and still going.
The field has been red flagged in the back straightaway.
This is getting to be all too common. Every time we turn around, we got a red flag, a race.
96 laps complete. 4 to go, so they'll have a chance to race a couple.
At the most, it will only be about 2 laps.
As far as we know, all of the drivers involved are okay. No reports of any injuries. Christian Elder was a while getting out of his car, but he's walking away okay. And we'll be right back. The cars are towed away from turn 2. Christian Elder, who is just back after recuperating from injuries. There's Jack Sprague's car, the points leader, who will lose the point lead tonight. And all the drivers are reported to be okay.
Watch this car now. It does. Todd on the outside must get the back. See how it does that little wobble right there? It's like it starts down and he corrects for it, and then the thing takes off with him. And when it does, it just gets into Todd Bodine on the outside there.
Watch Casey Kane. Wild ride.
Right over the top of Jack. Stacy Compton's one I can't believe. He goes right through the middle of this, and I don't believe he got any damage.
Daryl, do you possibly think the 18 car possibly had anything to do with it, running this, approaching the back of the 24 car, maybe taking air off the rear spoiler?
Whoa! I don't know, but watch Stacy. He stays. 98 goes around, opens up, and through he goes.
Very little damage.
And he's sitting in 10th right now.
He didn't panic. He didn't jump on the brakes. He drove through it.
He's leading a charmed life tonight.
He drove through it. That's the 3rd wreck he's been in. That's the 3rd week in a row that 24 car's been in a wreck, too. You go back to Kentucky. You go back to Milwaukee. And now tonight.
And his string of finishing every race this season has come to an end.
Yeah, I don't believe they can fix that in 4 laps.
We are still under the
Vickers. No, that's Kerry Earnhardt. Check that. Caution's out.
Well, in the back, you buddy, there's plenty of room there.
Well, Wally,
you said it was going to be a rough race.
Didn't take long. Did you see all the debris already up in that gray area floating down there under Kerry's car?
And all that smoke is the rear tire rubbing the sheet metal because he's knocked all that sheet metal in against it, and as he's trying to drive back to the pit, all we're getting is tire rub.
Just can't begin to explain the disappointment a driver feels when he's here all weekend building up to the start of a race, and before he gets 5 miles under his belt, he's crashed.
I don't know how he can see.
He can't. Look at him trying to wave the smoke away. It reminds me of going to Revival on a Sunday night with all the gnats and pests around, trying to get those things out of your face.
You know, Michael Waltrip says if you can drive it back, it doesn't go on your resume as a crash. That's what he's trying to do, I guess. Dave?
Well, and Alan, you mentioned disappointment, and that was another thing Kerry talked to me about, was that he has had a couple of crashes recently, including last week at Daytona, and he said, all I want to do is finish this race today. He just radioed into his crew, is pretty sure it has pretty severe rear end damage, and they're going to take it back to the garage.
Hey, look at the car crabbing down pit road. Back end's all knocked askew. All right, let's see if we can figure out what happened.
Well, he's somewhere in here. Just lose it? That was Stacy Compton right behind him, wasn't it?
But I don't think anybody got to the back of him.
I don't. Yeah, didn't look like he got hit.
Unless it was earlier.
Yeah, why don't you? You okay with that?
I was on board the Jack Sprague car. Let's go up in here and just see. He's loose getting in the corner. There's no one makes contact with him. He just gets loose getting down in the corner. And Wally, we've talked about it all weekend. These cars have a tendency coming off the corner to get tight, and you've got to have them so loose getting in the corner. That's what happens.
You're right, BP. And it's everybody's going to complain about the cars pushing, but I think what we're trying to do is to try to get the cars tight enough to get into the corner, but it makes them so tight getting off, they have a problem. So they got a
13th place on back. The 66. Oh! Speaking of loose, Stacy Compton.
So far, hasn't hit anything, and so far, no caution.
Got some damage here to the left front valence, which is not going to help here, especially.
No caution. We stay under green.
Now, that car would be pretty tight right now.
So Stacy Compton falling through the standings with that left front fender damage when he slid down off the banking onto the flat part of the racetrack.
Uh-oh, we got
another one spinning down the front stretch.
Start finish line.
94 car, Larry Gunselman's into the tri-oval grass.
Good deal.
Well, that helps Stacy, so now they can come out and bang that fender out a little bit.
Second yellow of the day, and we're all of 10 laps into the race.
Well, Wally, once again, you might have been right.
Boy.
So far, our average is not too good.
Well, this one, at least nobody hit anything hard. That's good. 94 car, Larry Gunselman, Sierra Village, California, former championship contender in NASCAR's Winston West Series.
You ever see Stacy Compton come off turn 2 and the car just around it went? There we see him. And we talked about it once again. To get these cars ready to run for a 40, 50, 60 lap run, they start these runs so loose the drivers barely can control them. There we see him hit that bump in the grass and damage that left front fender.
And as important as aerodynamics are here, like Wally was talking about.
Right rear. One round in the left rear. Steve, let's not
As Wally was talking about, that's going to cause a long, hard day for Stacy Compton and his team. Back at Chicagoland, under caution, Dan Shaver has just crashed in turn 1. Yellow flag is out for the 3rd time in the race.
And there's a heavy, heavy damage to the right side of that 49 car.
Let's take a look at what happened. Shaver out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
That's Shane Meal in the 47 car. Going down in turn 1. Is there contact? Oh, no.
Well, he crashed on the straightaway.
He crashed on the straightaway. Yes, he did. And he gets the front end, probably knocked the air out of the right front tire, and goes down to turn 1. It will not turn. In the wall he goes again. Look looked like he was so worried about the 47 car, and he was looking over his shoulder to see the 47 car and just didn't notice the wall coming up. We saw Greg Biffle do that at the Nashville Speedway.
While he was leading.
While he was leading, yes.
One thing you don't want to forget about is the wall coming either.
Oh, and Shane Meal, the 47 car, lacked about 3 or 4 inches getting tagged in that right rear.
It's a pretty good wall. Don't want to forget about the wall coming.
You don't want to forget about that wall coming.
It'll leave a mark.
Yeah. And there we see he's knocked the fuel pump off the right side of that car, and that's a brief fuel fire we see.
Window net down. Driver signal to the safety officials that he's okay. And now the pit stops. Wally talked about it a minute ago. Track that's hard to pass. When you pass them on pit road, it's a huge double. Turn 1, turn 2. 3 cars involved. Brian Vickers in the 40, Mike Harmon in the 44, and Stacy Compton in the 59. They look like they're hooked together.
They're kind of locked together, and some heavy contact with Stacy Compton's car on the right side.
You okay? Fine. Who is that in that car? He didn't even slow down.
Mike Harmon.
Mike Harmon from Birmingport, Alabama. The last one involved in the accident. Stacy's description of that, Stacy Compton's, was fairly accurate.
And we see all the damage to the left side.
Garage, meet him in the garage, guys.
Compton 10th in points.
Man, oh man. I thought there was heavy damage to the right side.
Looks like our 360 car almost.
After you got done yesterday with Kelly. All right, caution out for the 5th time in the race. Here's what happened.
There we see Vickers, the 40 car, gets on the apron of the racetrack in the corner on the inside of Kenny Wallace and pushes him up the racetrack. The 40 car loses control. Kenny Wallace, yes, he's going to spin as well. 33 car Tony Raines involved.
Oh, look at Jason Keller, 2nd in points there. He just missed it.
Where's Stacy at?
That'll be view number 2.
Okay.
Because he's all the way at the top of the racetrack, slowing down.
I did say Brian Vickers in the 40 car, didn't I?
Yep.
Okay.
Brian Vickers has just been summoned to the big blue truck after the race.
Great job by Jason Keller to get through there.
All right, now we see what happened to Stacy Compton. Cars are going to start scattering up against the wall. Watch the top right of your screen.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that? Casey Kane was the light blue car involved there also.
Yeah, the Channel Lock car from Robert Yates Racing.
So by the time this one's done, got about a half a dozen of them dinged up, including Mike Harmon's car. He's going to be out here in Chicagoland. That's Brian Vickers. Looks like he's been into the wall again. Maybe going to try and let traffic clear and see if he can get it onto pit road. And somebody else is in the wall behind him, too. Who's that? Kenny Wallace? Caution's out. Yeah.
Well, if there's oil on the racetrack up there, because it looks like both those cars have made some awfully hard contact with the outside retaining wall. Well, I know the 48 has.
Almost looks like Vickers might have a flat tire. The front of that car looks like it's laying down right on the racetrack there in the right front.
Yeah, they got some big problems on that Stacker 2 car.
No, he just got remarked. Well,
that's off turn 2.
Boy, that was a hard hit, too.
Yes, it was. Vickers hits the wall hard there off turn 2.
I think he may have had a right front tire go down.
And the Stacker 2 on board.
Well, that looks...
Is that a line of something? See right there? It might just be a shadow from the catch fence, too.
I think he had a flat right front tire going in turn 3. That might have been some debris that he ran over from Brian Vickers' car. That would be my guess. Because as hard as he hit the wall, you know that he broke the rotor, the brake rotor on the right front. And if Kenny Wallace came along and ran over some of that debris, it would cut the right front tire down.
While you watch this situation, Kevin Grubb is on pit road answering a NASCAR black flag. There is a line you're supposed to stay below when you exit pit road. Caution's coming out. No, it's Scott Riggs.
Scott Riggs. Hard contact.
6th place car.
Got 3 more cars, Scott, and you get it down.
He's not going to get that car down. All right, right front corner of that car. Look at it. This should be the 7th yellow of the Tropicana Twister 300. And you see Scott drop in the window net, his signal to the safety workers that he's okay.
It looked like we saw Scott Riggs try to turn the car left to go down, but it just would not steer. He's knocked the steering off the car when he made contact with the outside retaining wall. And Wally, I wonder now if some of these guys might be able to make it the rest of the way. They've got to run 75 laps.
Yep. Be close.
Be close. 110, 15 miles.
Be 78 to go when they come around this time. Boy, you know, if the restart comes with 72 to go, 75 laps to go.
That's what I said.
Yeah, my scoring computer over here shows a different number than yours. I think we've got
Scott's holding his side as well.
That's not good.
And we can see he's obviously in pain.
Remember, Johnny Benson broke some ribs just last week at Daytona.
And he said, I don't need that stinking bed, but let's see what happened. Oh,
something broke.
Something broke. The car just, oh, the rear track bar broke. You see how the left rear is sticking out of the car? Oh, that broke before the crash.
I'd like to see that again.
The car definitely lurched there, hung it right hard.
Yeah, but I'd like to see it again and be looking at that left rear tire when we start that replay.
Well, maybe he just got loose, and as he corrected it off too, back into the wall, kind of like Christian Elder did yesterday.
All right, let's see.
I don't
Watch
know.
the left.
No, something broke.
Yeah,
something definitely broke.
We just couldn't see.
And it came from the front of the car.
Yeah, just couldn't see that the rear end was out of it there. Oh,
watch on the left front here. There you go. Yeah, you're right, Pete.
I think he just got.
Maybe you're right.
I think he just got the car loose.
Yep.
And the smoke that we saw from the left side, the left rear springs they run on these cars are so soft, and when you turn it back, if it gets any weight at all on the left rear, it just sinks to nothing.
Scott has walked to the ambulance. He'll take the mandatory ride to the infield hospital, and we'll get an update there on him as soon as we can. Dave Burns, what do you got for us?
Alan, look at
got a car in trouble, turn 4.
Now he's nervous.
Casey
now he's
Kane
nervous, real nervous.
Has backed into the outside wall. Caution is out.
He did not. Now he's going, oh, man, I cannot believe it. This is not what he wanted.
The leader will take the caution with 5 laps to go. We have seen the red flag with this many laps left in a race recently. We'll see if NASCAR has to stop the race here. But I would suspect we're going to see more green flag racing before this one's over. And this changes everything. And yes, they are going to stop the field on the backstretch.
Casey put the net down, so that's a good sign.
Been a lot of debate about when and when won't the red flag be used by NASCAR. The problem with last Saturday night's race was they took the caution flag with only 3 laps to go. They don't consider that to be enough laps left to restart the race, but with 5 to go, you can do it. And they have.
And they have. The cars are already stopped. As you can see, already the pace cars picked them up. They've stopped.
Okay, all that stuff we were talking about before,
forget it.
Forget it.
Now let's reset. You see the officials in NASCAR race control, the gentleman to the next. There, circle him for me, BP. Gentleman with the glasses that's speaking there on the radio, that's David Hoots. The one next to him in the blue shirt is Brian Dehart, the Busch Series director for NASCAR.
That's the one I circled.
You circled everybody.
Yeah, well, I circled Dehart.
Kevin Triplett, the director of operations for NASCAR, is the next one along the table. They have made the call, stop the race, put out the red flag.
Which means now, single file, Johnny Sauter's got to get the best restart of his life.
There's Casey Kane out of his car, and okay. And let's take a look at what happened that brought out the 8th caution of this Tropicana Twister 300.
Well, as they come off turn 4, Casey Kane just in heavy traffic.
Remember, he had some rear end damage earlier from that big 6-car pileup up in turn 2.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, on the last pit stop, they had a rather long stop. I tell you what, just lost control off the corner. And, you know, as good as these race car drivers are, we've seen that several.
Christian Fittipaldi.
Trouble. Todd Bodine, inside wall. And the caution flag is out.
I talked to Todd and Rambo this morning, and they said that they changed everything on that car but the steering wheel. So they had no idea whether they were going to be hero or zero, if they went forward or backwards. So I don't know if he got tagged or not, but hopefully we'll take a look at it.
Todd Bodine started the race back in 16th place, so he was in the middle of all the traffic, and they got a lot of problems there. Car's not tracking straight. See how the rear wheels are farther to the left than the front wheels?
Yeah, you can see the left rear wheel there way out from the fender, so those guys got a long night ahead of them.
Todd's scheduled to go to New Hampshire to run the Winston Cup race tomorrow in the Discover Card machine. He may want to take a couple of that sponsor's products along the way after the early troubles here. All right, what happened? Turn 2.
Yeah, you see Todd down on the bottom underneath Ashton Lewis. Yeah, looks like he may have just
got away.
Yeah, it just got away, and it's hard to tell at that angle whether the car was really tight and he had the steering wheel turned too much and it came out around, or the car was loose.
Another angle on it here. That's the back end of it.
Yeah.
Where the back end gets messed up.
You know, the one thing they did do, they put a shorter A-frame on the left side, which makes the car turn better in the center. So it could be that it was loose off. How about it, Dave? Can you fill us in on that?
Well, they decided to put 2 tires on this time, just take on 2 rights to make sure he's got fresh rubber, but they couldn't stay very long because the pace car is coming that direction, and he just ran the stop sign at the end of the pit lane. So it's not going to get any better for Todd Bodine at this point, guys.
That little paddle changes from go to stop when the pace car reaches a certain point in the front straightaway. Todd Bodine will go down 1. Wallace, 9th place. Oh, Stuart Kirby. Troubles in turn 1.
No yellow yet.
Bowling Green, Kentucky driver. Homesteader, caution's out.
Ashton Lewis Jr. up in the walls in turn 1.
And has wrinkled up the back end of that car pretty good. Ron Hornaday with his hand out the window there.
That means already these guys are feeling the temperature. You stick your hand out the window there so that wind will blow inside the car. And these cars are built so tight the way the bodies are. There's not a lot of air that gets into these cars to cool the drivers off. So these guys are feeling it right now.
So this would be caution number 3, and we've only run 25 laps. Is there a full moon tonight?
Man, he packed that thing in the wall.
Yeah. Let's see if we can see what happened to Ashton Lewis Jr. This is down in turn 1.
And it looks like he got driven into by that angle.
See it again just to double check, but I believe it was Christian Fittipaldi who was the one that was up to his inside.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And you see Ashton moving around inside there, okay, but no doubt dejected. Carrying a decal on his car, remembering a couple of Civil Air Patrol service members who were killed on a mission in a plane crash in North Carolina on July 17th.
There you see Fittipaldi just dove down in there, and his car looked like it got tight maybe a little bit. It kind of slid up the racetrack, but unfortunately Ashton Lewis Jr. was there, and he got the worst of it.
You know you're around all the stuff when the replays that we use to show the first 2 accidents of the night come from your onboard camera. It's been eventful for Hank Parker Jr. so far. We're under caution. 4th time here tonight in St. Louis. Scott Wimmer and Bill Davis is 23, went for a little loop-de-loop. Check it out, see if we can see what happened to Scott. Well, he didn't hit anything. No well, that's awful insightful of you. Honest. Like he just got up in the
spun out.
Looked like he got up in the marbles. Well, thank you.
Anytime you need my expert opinion, you just go ahead and ask.
I'm counting on you. Scott running 1 lap down in 24th spot after the loop around there, up in the corner. We did finish the cycle of pit stops under that Kerry Earnhardt in turn 2 that put us under caution for the 5th time in this race. Survey says
he got, like you said, behind in the steering.
Got loose and then chased it and chased it. And
at least he chased it off the wall.
Yeah. And got away with it. And he's still on the lead lap. Back in 14th position after a pit stop for some fresh tires. Got 16 cars on the lead lap. Greg Biffle had a 3.4 second lead on Ron Hornaday until that.
Pressure on. Hopefully Greg can make a little bit of a mistake. Shane Neal looks like he's a little bit high coming out of 2. I think that was
in 6th place.
Lost a lot of spots.
Yeah, we'll see where he's at by the time he gets back up to speed. Hamilton Jr. in the 25 is not on the lead lap.
Looks like he's got a little smoke coming.
Yeah, he's pancaked the right side.
Too.
See it?
Yep.
He's pancaked the right side against the wall.
Yeah, he's got some white walls on the right side there.
That's not a good place to be.
In the marbles. That's too bad. They had a good run going.
And he just bumped it again while we were watching that replay. So Shane's going to have to come to pit road, get that thing straightened out, and that's going to cost him a lot of ground tough after the great drive he made from the back of the field up into the top 10. He'll pit with 22 laps to go. Everything's steady up front, no change. Look at the front end's all knocked on a line. It's got some suspension damage. North-south tires kind of pointing northeast, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The only thing they're doing right now, though, is pulling the fenders off the tires. I guess because the tires are still up, and he storms out of pit road. Be careful, don't speed and add to the insult to injury there. But they didn't change anything. They just pulled the sheet metal away from the tires to make sure he didn't cut one down.
Cars in trouble up there also.
Johnny Sauter, flat left front tire. A Chicagoland winner.
I guess he found the debris. Tony Raines was also off the pace for a minute up in 3 and 4. Raines started in 14th place. He's fallen all the way back to 37th, and here's Sauter on pit road.
Can they change these left sides and get him back on the track? They were not ready for the left rear. The left rear tire carrier was not ready. It looks like he is going to stay on the lead lap. Uh-oh, he killed the engine. Something is wrong.
Yeah, they're working at something there. Well, looks like a piece of tailpipe off somebody's car, doesn't it?
Unless it's a drive shaft.
Possibly off the Brent Moore car.
Could very well be.
So his first Busch Series start ever didn't last long. He's already behind the wall, and we've only completed 4 laps. We'll be back in just a minute.
It looks like Bruce Bechtel in the 77 car.
He has backed it into the fence. Good. Corona, California driver, second Busch Series start for him. No relation, by the way, to Gary Bechtel, that used to be a Winston Cup team owner. And caution flag number 2 is out over the net, 0-250.
All right, now these guys, I know the radios are going wild. Okay, what are we going to do? Let's make some changes. What do we need to do to make this car faster?
Well, it's only 30 laps in. You're going to pit?
That's a good question. That's exactly the same question the crew chiefs are asking the drivers. Do you want to give up this track position and make a pit stop and make changes, or are you happy with a race car?
If I am Greg Biffle, 14th place, 13th place now, check that. I think anywhere from that on back, I might be willing to come on in. Get the tires, give up the track position.
Well, we'll see.
Not expecting a lot of cautions in this race. Only 1 yellow in this race a year ago. 2 yellows in this race the year before. Anybody going to come in?
See, we'll ever see the 77 of Bechtel, Jimmy Means' car. Ew! Hard contact. When that back end jumps off the ground like that. And you're right, Greg Biffle has decided to make a pit stop.
Yep. Championship leader is in as they attend to. Oh, trouble. Todd Bodine gets turned around right at the start-finish line.
All right, nail it, Todd. We're all right.
Trying to get it fired up. No caution. We stay under the green, and Greg Biffle will get the jump from that outside lane.
Now the hard part's Todd Bodine sitting there hoping to get a caution there. He's sitting there waiting to see if he could coax the starter into throwing a caution out, but I don't think that's going to help him here. He's going to be 3/4 of a lap down now trying to get caught back up.
Let's check it out. Coming down for the start.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25 car just did not get a very good start. And I think Randy LaJoy got in the back of Todd Bodine and turned him around.
Lucky he didn't hit that inside wall. There you go. It was the red car. Somebody about 2 cars in front of Hamilton Jr. on that inside row is the one that didn't go.
Yeah, you can see actually, you see Bobby move down and then it put Todd at an angle so that when he did get hit, it actually he was.
Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, caution is out for a hard 6-car crash in turn 1.
Hank Parker Jr., the winner last week, will not win tonight as he drives the GNC car away from the crash.
Shane Meal is involved, Mike Harmon, Kevin LePage, and Hermie Sadler. Ron Hornaday was also involved in the beginning of it. He has driven away.
All right, here we go. Tony down at turn 1. Hornaday on the inside of Shane Meal. He locked that brake down that left front. We saw the smoke, but he couldn't stop in time. Made contact with Shane Meal, and round he went.
And that starts what we call a good old-fashioned yard sale.
Yeah, a lot of parts for the auctions.
And it looks like Hornaday is really worried more about Hank Parker than he is Shane Meal there. But when he gets down there, then you realize he's committed. Shane's coming down a little bit. He does lock up the fronts, and there's nowhere for him to go but clip Shane in the back.
He and Shane Meal had bumped in turn 3, the preceding half lap. Then when they came off of 4, they were 3 wide and kind of rubbed a little sheet metal, and then it came down to this in turn 1.
On board with Jack Sprague. Let's see if he gets through. Well, it looks like he did. And the 36 car of Hank Parker Jr. Man, look at the damage to Meal's car. He has had a problem with the brakes locking up all night. And I think when he got down the corner and really had to use the brakes, that they locked up and caused the car to spin. There's Hermie.
There's Hermie Sadler out of his car. You saw Parker Jr. and Shane Meal drive away. Kevin LePage I saw climb from his car.
And NASCAR, there is such a mess down there. They have thrown the red flag, stopped the cars up in turn 4 until they can get this cleaned up and check on all the drivers.
And that's probably a really good call because there's so much metal down there inside turns 1 and 2. These guys would be running through lap after lap in the pace car. You might as well just stop it and let them clean it up. So the race red flagged here at lap number 61. Here's another look.
And there you see the contact.
Now watch from the left as the other cars pile in.
Oh, Mike Harmon in the 44. Hard contact.
And then that was Kevin Grubb in the yellow car on the right side of the screen that went up over him. So make it a 7-car accident.
And right there, I guess the 12 car might have gotten in the back of the 36 car. I thought maybe the brakes locked up, but Kerry Earnhardt might have just touched the 36 in the back and causing him to spin.
Wow, Mike almost had some company there. All right, I talked about some tempers being as hot as the 90-degree weather. Glenn is down in the middle of all this.
And Shane Meal is crawling from his car right now. A little bit of a grimace on his face there. Shane looks like on the replay there it was contact. Looked like the 26 car got into you getting into 1.
Yeah, I don't know. He got into me down in 3 and 4. I was trying another line, and I don't know. Ron's been known to do that. He's been around quite a long time. So I just hate it for the Gould's pump. We were a little tight. We were going to get it better. I was just riding around trying to get to the first pit stop, and I hate this happened, man. My guys work awfully hard for stuff like this to happen.
Well, it's tough luck, man. It wasn't your fault. We'll step back and let the crew get started when the red flag is lifted. They're ready to work on the car right now, but obviously they can't. Here's Ralph.
Well, Hank Parker's GNC entry is torn up too, Glenn. Hank, what happened?
Just some hard racing there at the beginning of the race. I had a good car. We came in and pitted. My front brake calipers kept locking up. We had a real fast car today in practice, and it locked up in qualifying, but you can't change anything after qualifying before the race. We were really struggling with that, but we had a fast car. We were moving up through the field, and Shane Meal was kind of falling back a little bit. He's a good race car driver, but
2 cars hard into the wall. 3 cars make it.
Looks like the Sauter boys. Is that 21 of Jay up there? Yes, and the 19 of Tim.
And Ashton Lewis in the 46. Jay Sauter took a shot with that 21 car. The sparks were flying.
Tim gets the 19 rolling.
4th caution of the race.
And like Alan told you at the very start, we're going to see a lot of spark flying. Sometimes they're going slow, sometimes they're going fast.
Now look at the left side of Ashton Lewis's car, all punched in. You see Jay Sauter has just driven that Richard Childress 21 away. And the window net down on the Ashton Lewis car, which is his signal to the safety workers that he is okay. That's good. It's a hard shot down there. You know, it may be a short track, but you're still doing over 100 miles an hour when you steam off into those corners with that concrete wall staring you in the face.
This is the hard part, seeing where you're going with the hood up like that.
Glenn?
We just got a report that Jay Sauter in the 21 had just radioed his crew to tell him that he had a right front tire going down as he was coming down the front stretch, and the guys kind of jammed up behind him, and unfortunately got his brother Tim involved too. The car that Tim was driving, the number 19, was a brand new car they just tested here 2 weeks ago. First in-house chassis those guys had ever built, was really running well, had been in the top 7 or 8 all night long, and really bad break for him to waste that new race car. But Jay Sauter had a right front tire going down, started this mess.
That'll do it. And you see there's Tim Sauter's car. You saw the safety workers there with Ashton Lewis up inside turn number 1. And Ashton has climbed from his car. There he is.
Tough break.
Yeah. It wrecked for a long way too.
Man, they did, didn't they? That's where it started. It's still going.
Grinding along that wall all the way down there.
And there we basically see the results of all that.
I told you the sparks were flying.
And all those guys can do is say, why me?
Yeah. So fourth caution of the race is out. Came out at lap number 80. The leader is Jamie McMurray, but for now, he's running behind the pace car. Car up against the wall in turn 3. It's Bobby Hamilton Jr. Looked like he stopped. Well, no, he didn't stop to bring out the yellow. He's got problems.
That's a big problem right there.
Yeah, big time problem.
Yep. 7th place in points, Hamilton Jr. And with only 30 laps to go in the race, chances to repair that and get him out in time for the finish might be slim.
When that right front tire doesn't roll, that's not a good sign.
No.
Sparks are flying at the racetrack on a Saturday night.
And Biffle and the 57 car are on pit road. Scott Riggs stays out. Wow, this is going to be
spinning. Caution flag is out. Larry Foyt's the other car involved.
This is definitely not what Biffle and Keller wanted to see for sure. They wanted to see this thing go to where the fresh tires could come in and really get going and keep a lot of heat in Scott Riggs' car.
Well, Biffle got to 4th.
Keller's at 6th.
Yeah, Keller did not clear Tony Raines before the yellow came out. Both cars involved in the accident have driven away. Should not be a long caution. Make a quick trip with one of the cleanup trucks to check for debris. See if we can see what happened.
You know, all we see is a couple of cars going around making smoke.
It looked like Hornaday spun when he ducked to the inside around Larry Foyt, got in the grass.
On board the net zero onboard camera. Let's see. Wow. What'd you see there, Tony?
Looked like the 26 just got in the left rear of the 14 from that view. Got them both sideways and drove them both to the bottom of the racetrack down the backstretch.
We definitely have some damage to that right front fender, but I don't know many cars this race here tonight that don't have damage. But
yeah, I said there are 172 clean fenders at the start of the night. How many do you think don't have a mark on them now? About 12?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Look at it. There's Kevin LePage's car.
Do you actually count that as a fender or no fender now?
No fender.
That's no fender.
So
that's a damaged fender because it's sitting in a scrap heap in the infield somewhere.
Does it have to be present to be accounted for, though?
It is present still.
Where?
It's in the jump pile in the infield.
It looks like a NASCAR modified right now.
It does. No, NASCAR model. Looks like Dan Shaver in the 49 car.
I spoke too soon about good job so far.
Shaver is a 52-year-old from Charlotte who has a background in IMSA road racing and also the Goodies Dash series of NASCAR and the ARCA series. We come back to Michigan with the caution out. Ron Hornaday has spun off of turn number 2.
Oh, and that left front tire's coming apart, tearing the fender up.
Car's in the center.
Both left sides are flat.
Tell me again how the car is in the center of the corner. I can control the center of the corner with a ratchet. I keep it locked.
Here's what happened to Ron.
On the inside of the 19 car, Tim Sauter, and he just didn't have that wall of air to lean against, and around he went.
Exactly. It takes that pocket of air off the right side of the spoiler, which just frees the car up. And a lot of times that's what happens here at Michigan if you get two cars that get that close together and you're already loose.
Plus, he's got the 48 car of Kenny Wallace right behind him. He had everything going against him, didn't he?
Exactly. There wasn't a positive situation for Ron there.
And it was the leader's pit.
Oh, we got trouble.
Kevin LePage was the pole sitter for today's race. Has been struggling with the handling of this car all day, and now he's into the wall.
And the caution flag is out.
Caught the tail end of Kevin saying to the crew, I don't know if the right front went down or what.
Well, you can't pit now, can you, Tony? I mean, give up all this track position?
Isn't this the same thing we said at IRP, though?
It looks like it's pushed in. Okay, guys, be right sides only right here. Right sides only.
Yeah, that's why we said in Indy that Jason Keller and Greg Biffle shouldn't pit. They did.
Oh, trouble. Turn 4. Kevin Grubb.
Still green. Still green.
It's Grubb's car down in the apron on the bottom, and the yellow flag is out. First one. Took 12 laps to get it.
And Grubb gets slapped. Oh.
Jason Keller is the leader. We're under the first caution flag here at Bristol. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Under caution at Bristol for Kevin Grubb's spin in that 54 car in turn number 4.
Looked like Kevin dove underneath Ricky Hendrick there, and Hendrick shut the door on him. Instead of taking Hendrick out, he kind of took himself out, or he spun the car.
And lost a lap as Steve Grissom goes by the 34 car. One more replay. On board Hank Parker Jr. And that's Tim Fiedler in the 31 car.
Clear low.
Nice job there by Steve Grissom and Johnny Sauter.
And luckily,
the t-shirt on.
I hope he's washed it.
Caution, turn 4. Larry Gunselman almost came right back up in front of the leaders in that 94 car. I hope he has 2. All right, there's 2.
There's 2.
My under isn't looking good here, is it? Jason Keller is the leader. Second caution flag early here. This Cat Rental Stores presents NASCAR Busch Series Racing at Bristol. Oh, it's not done yet. Mike Wallace caught Steve Grissom. There's 5 of them spun behind him as they jacked up on the brakes.
The 94 car slid up, and I didn't see the first car he got into, but
Stacy Compton, Jack Sprague, Larry Foyt, Brian Vickers all caught up in it. Kerry Earnhardt just collected Jack Sprague trying to get turned around. That's your basic mess back there.
And that was Mike Wallace in the Geico car, wasn't it? We saw taking his gloves off.
I watched the, I think, 94 car here, Gunselman, yeah. And he's working on Grissom, and he slides up the racetrack, gets into Steve.
I disagree. Gunselman's left side tires never moved off that yellow line.
Well,
I think Steve came down on him.
You see Ricky Hendrick in the 5 car kind of drive through. Grissom comes back down, and there comes Mike Wallace.
I know what you were thinking, though. Gunselman was a lap down, and Grissom was trying to get around him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't getting any break.
On board with Mike Wallace.
Spin in front of you, Mike. Low, go low. Low.
Lower.
Hamilton Jr. got a piece of that. Mike's out of his car. That's good. All but Brian Vickers have driven away from the mess on the back straightaway, and we're under caution once again at Bristol. Casey Mears loses a lap as he's on pit. Oh, trouble, turn one. At least a dozen cars involved.
I don't know if we're going to get to 10. We may not have enough cars left.
And the 54 car, I will tell you, got a lap back. There he goes. Kevin Grubb. That Johnny Sauter in the 2 car?
Johnny Sauter, Derek Cope, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Mark Green, Stacy Compton, Shane Hall, Shane Meal, Larry Foyt again. Who else? Jack Sprague stopped behind it, I believe. I don't think he got into that one.
And Johnny Sauter, that car there looks a great deal like the car that he crashed with Mike Harmon here on Thursday.
Yeah, that's their second car of the weekend. And back here in March, he was involved in about half the cautions in the Busch Series race then. He was around all of them. He came away very frustrated from that race.
Must be a fire under.
Well, it's leaking a lot of fluid.
Yeah, a lot of fluid.
I think NASCAR's trying to get him to get it off pit road in case anybody comes down the pit lane. All right. Top of the screen. Is that Mark Green and Hamilton Jr. that tangled to start it?
I don't know. See Shane Meal, the 47 car.
Oh, this gives us a good look. On board Mark Green.
Looks like he got hit. Hit left rear.
So Mark Green and Hamilton Jr. tangled to start this one.
Kind of in the right rear a little bit, guys, and then the right front in the wall.
4th caution is out at Bristol. Prime time, top 25 college football returns to TBS on Saturday night starting September 14th. Pac-10 and Big 12 are the featured conferences. It's Big Play Saturday on the Superstation, September 14th. Young lady, if you'd seen what's been going on in this race so far, you wouldn't stand there very long.
She'd get off the racetrack real fast.
4th caution of the race involved about a half a dozen cars down inside turn 1.
And it looks like in the back that Hamilton Jr. right there.
Red under green, it looked like.
And Wally, that's exactly like what you talked about at the top of the show. If you make contact with someone going in the corner like that, we got big problems.
Going to be a crash. And that is a crash.
5, 6.
Boy, Gibbs, the 20 car, about a beautiful car.
7, 8, 9, 10 involved in all. Marty?
Well, Stacy Compton, one of the victims, your night started off bad with a flat left front, which put you back in the field, and then that mess, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, if you get back there, you're subject to get tore up, and I hate it for the Kingsford Johnsonville Chevrolet. We had a good race car, but we won't find out tonight. We had a left front go down right off the bat, and had to come in. We got too far back. We got caught up in the melee, and we thought we had that wreck on the back mist, and I mean, it's just Bristol. You just don't have anywhere to go. We checked up, and Jack didn't have anywhere to go. I think somebody got him and got us turned around, and then over here somebody knocked the oil cooler off, had oil all over the track. Nobody could get stopped, and it'll be a long night.
It's going to be a long night. They will get him back out, but it won't be much fun. Matt?
Marty, the AC Delco guys are quickly trying to replace the radiator and fix all the other beaten and battered pieces on this number 2 car. And Johnny, it's been a tough weekend for you, and it was tough to try to make it through that melee.
I couldn't really hear you, but it's been a tough weekend for this AC Delco Chevrolet. Second car of the weekend, and just unfortunate. It's Bristol, and that's the way it works.
But they're going to try to get this car back out there for points. He had a great momentum wave going. Last 6 races, 3 finishes of 6th or better. This is going to hurt tonight.
Got 9 cars off the Tim Fedewa in that 31, and somehow everybody gets by.
And that was
a bad spot.
That's the place to be, yeah. Driver's side door of the racetrack is not good.
Tim Fedewa with a spin that brings out caution number 7.
Is that Tinkerbell?
That would be a praying mantis, I think.
Been working all day.
Jack Sprague didn't hit anything.
Smoking bad, though.
Oh, the track bar's broken on the 24 car. Did he somehow saved that thing?
It was a right side tire or something. The right side to begin with. If nothing's flat, he's blown up. Left sides are good.
Something's broke, guys.
The rear track bar, Panhard bar is broken, I think.
Crew guy just noticed it there in the left rear of the car.
There you go.
Put him behind the wall. Put him behind the wall and fix the track bar.
Dennis Conner, the crew chief. You can hear the torture in his voice. What a miserable last month and a half it's been for this team. They were leading the points at Daytona. And now they're a couple of hundred behind and falling.